Made smoother than your smoothest criminal. Shamo, about that money, what we get into. Shamo, about that money, get residuals. Shamo.
Yes. Yes, 2 times. Y'all know the vibes though. She like, they go. She like, they go. Okay. Okay. That knock. What it do, people? You're now tuned in.
Popovich.
Popovich.
Popovich
Popovich
TV.
TV.
Oh yeah.
We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling back up in here one more again. So if it's your first time, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. To everybody else, you already know. Tony, there was no other way. We in the end game now.
Children is an act of child abuse. Very simple.
Very simple.
Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children.
We'll be right back.
Can you believe this?
Can you believe this?
I will sign a new executive
We'll be
order
right back.
instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers, which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funding. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different.
Popovich.
I will ask Congress
We
to pass a
live,
bill
we rolling, we
establishing
unscripted.
that the only genders.
We authentic, that feeling. Yeah, I step away for a hot minute, you know what I mean? I support everything Trump said 100%. And that's you. And I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I'm not none of that shit. And I've often quoted, you know, where I stand at on the channel. You know, I guess I'm independent. I'm a listen, assess, see what they talking about. I'm not just Democrat. I just not go along, get along like Kwame Brown. I'm not just going along just because that's what everybody's fucking doing. I never was like that. If anything, I'm leading the way and motherfuckers is following me and I'm leading them into some dumb shit like that. I mean, I'm never doing the following unless it's on the gram. And so, you know, just because you're black, just because you're Democrat, I'm not just going to rock with that. And that's why when you have some Biden talking about, you know what I mean, you're not black unless you vote for me, it's like, what? What? Hello? You play to win the game, right? You don't just play it to play. That's some trying to insult my intelligence. Shouts to my pops. He used to always quote that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you trying to insult my intelligence? And he did time too. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. And I love you, pops. And he's not my biological pops. He's my step pops. First one. He like, you trying to play with my intelligence? And it's like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, don't try to play me like I got a flower pot head. Like, that's a Purple Tape reference. Like, 1 for you, 1 for me. 2 for you, 1, 2 for me. 3 for you, 1, 2, 3 for me. Like, you don't try to play me like I got a fucking flower pot head. Is you kidding me? Like, I'll smack fire out you. Just because you Democrat, just because you black, people just tend to go along with that. And my thing is this, speaking into what he's talking about. I don't have no kids, and you follow the channel biologically, and again, I helped raise some kids, and I'm proud of that. Fuck what you say. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want them or my own kids to do something that can ultimately hurt them. They can have regret about. They can be like, damn it, man, once they become an adult mind, a mature mind, you know what I'm saying? And look back at some of the decisions that their parents did, like I've done, like I'm sure we've all done, for those who have kids or raise some kids. Now that you're an adult, you analyze your life, pardon me, you analyze your life, you reflect on your life as a child, you see some of the do's and don'ts that your parents did over you, like, you know what I mean, and how they raised you. And, you know, the quote Gray is like, you know what I mean, you make your own rules with your child, value system from your upbringing, your mannerism, you pass that down, reflecting off views, how that sound, to the squares out there, the world's round, right? The world is round. And when you teaching your child, you know what I mean, because you grown now and you got your own kids, you say, damn, mommy used to do this to me. Daddy would do this. You know, stepdaddy or whatever the case. Grandma would do this. Now that I'm older, I'm doing things different. I don't think that was the right move to do. Now I see why I'm like this. Or maybe I have a biasness or I feel a certain type of way about this. It's because of your childhood and your upbringing and the mannerism that's handed down. Reflecting off views, how that sound, right? To the squares, the world's round. If that went over your head the first time. You get to see now, like, damn, mommy, you know what I mean? I was fucked up. Or daddy left us. Or you look on the internet, you see this little young boy sitting in the car. His mom just recorded him, most likely. You know what I mean? And it's all for sale, so now we can see. And he like, don't call me. You know what I mean? I the child support, I pay child support or whatever it is. And he like, daddy. And you hear the hurt in his voice. And you like, damn, this shit is brutal. It's an evil world out here. And you hear Future creeping in the background. Sierra, we hear you. And you mad, you know what I mean? That Jason Whitlock, you know what I mean? Silence, I say. You like, damn, that was wrong. Well, I caught mommy doing this, and I seen daddy do. Oh, he was hustling. I caught seeing the gun in the stash box, whatever it was. Now you get to see, because you're raising kids, and so you don't want to let them go out on a limb because they wake up and maybe allegedly, kind of, sorta, they talking about they want to transition. You know what I mean? They came in the world one way, the way God wanted them to come in. And now just because they feel like it, like they do this shit when they feel like it, and as an adult, as the parent, you just go along with that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never understood that with the grown man, you know what I mean? And you let some young whippersnapper or somebody like lead you, or your kids is leading you. So what does that make you? Right. If they leading you. Shit don't even make sense. And so, you know, the first thing that comes to my mind, you know what I mean, when I seen this is, I think of Dwayne Wade and GabrieLLe Union, you know what I mean? And say what you will, if you've seen the other videos that I did on this, and I spoke about this topic a few times, been looked at with the side eye to Dwayne Wade, that is, when he like, yo, you're not a leader of his house, and he don't lead his house. Even no kids from the nutsack, you know what I mean? I still went and let them do some shit that they would, you know, regret later on. Get in your right frame of mind first. Become an adult first, so that you can make your own decisions and la. Wait till I get my money right. Because being broke is childish and you quite grown. When you can do it for yourself and nobody can tell you what to do. But while you under this little roof, and Eddie Murphy like, you know what I mean? You can go ahead and leave. You can leave the tennis courts, the swimming pool, the jacuzzi and all that. You can walk out the door and go that way if that's what you want to do. But under this household, where I pay bills, where I run my ship, Ralph Cramman and Bang Zoom, you're going to listen to what the fuck I say. But y'all know who it is. Popovich from Popovich TV. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling. Back up in here one more again. Yeah, kid.